Tonight on West Dakota Fox News at 9, a harrowing rescue by some quick-thinking Good Samaritans. Plus, an invitation from an enemy. Could President Trump be walking into a trap? But first, a tariff is tearing relationships with our trade partners, but bringing a big boost to the Rust Belt.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
We begin tonight with breaking news. We've just learned former North Dakota Governor George Sinner has died. Sinner was the state's last Democratic governor. He served from 1985 to 1992. He was 89. Senator Heidi Heitkamp just released a statement saying George's legacy can be found across the fields and township roads of North Dakota, but also in the devoted family he leaves behind, who carry on his lifelong commitment to community. Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. Our other top story tonight, President Trump's official tariff announcement having broad repercussions around the world. Fox News correspondent Ryan Chilcote has more from London.
President Trump making the official announcement on Thursday. The U.S. will impose tariffs on imported steel and aluminum, part of the president's America First trade policy. The White House cited national security concerns as well as the need to protect American workers, a rationale that has the European Union calling for an exemption to the new tariffs.
We are allies, we work together, we cannot possibly be a threat to national security in the US.
In the end, it would be detrimental to everybody. No one would win in such a race.
But many countries are going even further in their criticism, including China and South Korea, who both accuse the Trump administration of violating international trade agreements, and they're planning a legal challenge at the World Trade Organization.
They severely violated the World Trade Organization rules and will have a strong impact on the order of international trade. Our ambassador to the WTO has raised questions over the U.S. measures.
Reaction from American lawmakers has also been largely negative thus far. A bipartisan group of senators on Capitol Hill say they'll introduce a bill to nullify the tariffs. But other members of Congress are praising the president's decision, calling it a way to level the playing field for American workers.
I think what Donald is doing here is pushing a broader conversation, not just on steel and aluminum. The way you treat our products is the way we're going to treat yours.
Meantime, suspicions surrounding an invitation from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and whether or not it could be a trap for President Trump. Brian Todd has more.
Tonight in Washington and Seoul, a mix of genuine optimism over the possibility of a groundbreaking summit and real concern over what could go wrong.
This has been somewhat haphazardly prepared and very, very quickly prepared, and I'm concerned about this.
Analysts say so much of the success or failure of a meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un depends on the personalities of two very unpredictable leaders.
You know, you have the two most unusual leaders on the face of the planet walking in together to meet for the first time. You know, what could possibly go wrong? If those two hit it off, that could really advance things and things could go pretty well pretty quickly. If they don't hit it off, the opposite could be true.
Tonight, U.S. and North Korean officials are pressing their intelligence agencies and diplomats for more information on what the other side is after in a possible meeting. President Trump wants North Korea to commit to drawing down its nuclear arsenal, White House officials say, and won't even meet until that happens. What does Kim want to get out of a summit? And does he win just by having Trump show up?
He wants the legitimacy that comes from a meeting with the President of the United States, a legitimization of his reign and rule and status in the world, something that his father and his grandfather were never able to achieve. And if the American president goes through with this, he will have given that important gift to the North Koreans for virtually nothing.
Tonight, veteran diplomats and security officials are warning that Kim Jong-un could be playing President Trump and that Trump could be walking into a trap.
Time now is 9:04. Let's take our first check on weather. Meteorologist Henry Blakes.
It's been a bit on the cloudy side today.
Following a developing story tonight, Ulysses Villalobos, the man accused of trying to run over a police officer with his car, is now facing federal charges. The new charges are related to a drug trafficking case with a California street gang. We're learning more about a terrorizing incident that happened yesterday in Mandan. According to police, the victim feared for his life when 53-year-old Alan Patterson told him, quote, "I'm going to kill you, but this isn't the right place." Patterson was arrested. No one was injured. The final 2 fugitives in a Jamaican lottery scam have been captured. Police say Mario Hines and Gareth Billings were arrested in Jamaica. Both waived their right to fight extradition to the U.S. At least 90 Americans lost more than $5 million in the scam. Well, a Bismarck police officer is recovering tonight after he was assaulted just hours after paying it forward. According to Police Chief Dan Donlin, the officer stopped at Starbucks this morning and bought a gift card, asking the baristas to use it to purchase coffee for as many people as possible. A few hours later, the officer was out on a call with a suicidal subject when the person became aggressive and scratched and spit in the face of the officer. North Dakota just topped a new list, but it's nothing to brag about. Turns out we're the drunkest state in the nation. Bo Evans shows us what goes along with that title.
Stopping off for a cold one after a long day may seem like a good idea, but depending on how much alcohol you consume, it could quickly become a bad one.
When you arrive on a scene of an alcohol-related fatality, you just know that it could have perhaps been avoided had they chose not to drink, make better decisions, drive sober.
A report from the USA Today says North Dakota has some of the highest rates of binge drinking in the country. Those statistics aren't surprising the experts.
In the past decade, North Dakota has ranked in the top 5 states for the highest adult binge drinking rates pretty consistently.
And the numbers show binge drinking leads to DUIs.
The biggest consequence we see with adult binge drinking in the state is drinking and driving.
Alcohol-related fatalities, over the last 10 years, it's ranged anywhere from 42% as high as 52%.
So far in 2018, that number has remained low. Only 1 alcohol-related death out of 9 vehicle fatalities statewide.
Skiers and snowboarders at Huff Hills are taking advantage of all the fresh powder that dumped this week. The resort is opening a day early this weekend for spring breakers looking to hit the slopes.
They were fun, but after the snow's kind of deep, so it's hard to ski through. We've face planted a couple of times.
Staff say that the season is probably going to end in the next weekend or so, depending on the weather. In health news, most doctors recommend against inducing labor before a pregnancy reaches term, but that line of thinking could soon change.
You held that name out for me for.
Krista Rutschke is a first-time mother to twins Leah and Eli. They were born 5 weeks sooner than planned. She was induced into early labor.
35 weeks seemed really early, and so I was very concerned that the babies would have to spend a lot of time in the NICU, which gave me a lot of anxiety, but in the end it all worked out.
Inducing labor has been used for high-risk pregnancies, including twins. A new National Institute of Health study shows there might be benefits for low-risk pregnancies.
The induction of labor is very useful and beneficial in certain problems we encounter in obstetrics, and actually improves what we call perinatal morbidity and mortality.
The study analyzed more than 6,100 first-time mothers, comparing induction at 39 weeks or letting the pregnancy take its natural course. Rates of C-sections, high blood pressure during pregnancy, and babies needing respiratory support all decreased when labor was induced.
If inductions are done properly, the success rate is remarkably high, and again, important in the process of having a healthy baby, healthy mom.
A little bit of anxiety going home with 2 tiny babies, but we have wonderful supportive families that are both in town, and we'll have a lot of support.
The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists doesn't recommend induction before 39 weeks of gestation. For West Dakota Fox, I'm Andrew Horn.
The U.S. Secretary of Agriculture is in North Dakota today. Sonny Perdue was welcomed by Governor Doug Burgum in Fargo. On the agenda, a meeting with the ag industry representatives and a tour of the Red River Valley Agricultural Research Center. This is his first visit to the state. The Special Olympics state basketball tournament kicked off in Minot today. Winning isn't everything, but teams are hoping to take home the gold.
I'm so pumped up that we're gonna win. We're gonna take state this year.
Playing against different teams and trying to win, and just having fun with all the people and my team members, and just ready to play some basketball.
The tournament concludes tomorrow with the medal ceremony at 2 p.m. A hostage situation in California as a gunman enters a veterans home and opens fire. The event unfolding right now in Yountville, outside San Francisco. The center is the largest veterans residence community in the United States. That's according to its website. And it's home to more than 1,000 men and women who are elderly or disabled veterans. Some Good Samaritans pulled off a dramatic rescue in Denver, Colorado. This apartment complex caught fire Wednesday, forcing a few construction workers to jump from several stories up. One broke both of his legs but was pulled to safety by the people on the ground. Talk about a bumpy ride. A city bus getting stuck in a sinkhole in downtown Philadelphia. The rear wheel of the SEPTA bus got caught in the hole in the street. About 15 passengers were on board. None of them were hurt. Some more road troubles, this time in Michigan. Up to 50 were involved in a chain reaction pileup on I-94 today. This is about 60 miles west of Detroit. No word on injuries. Police say slick, snowy roads were a factor. And dramatic video out of Washington State. A mother fighting off a would-be carjacker. You can see the guy get into the driver's seat there. That's when the mom runs around and begins punching him. Turns out her toddler was in the back seat. The struggle ensues before the carjacker eventually gives up and runs off. He was later arrested. Like a scene straight out of a movie. A gang of thieves steal $5 million from a Lufthansa cargo jet in Brazil. The jet was headed to Switzerland, but was grounded after the thieves entered the airport's freight terminal in a pickup truck that looked a lot like a security vehicle. Police say the robbers tied up security agents and made off with the cash. No arrests have been made. Instead of burning bridges, maybe blow them up. That's what engineers did today in Savannah, Illinois. Dozens of onlookers gathered to send the bridge off with a bang. Remember that so-called pharma bro who jacked up the price of the life-saving drug by 5,000%? Well, he'll be spending the next 7 years in prison. Today, a judge found Martin Scarelli guilty of defrauding investors in 2 failed hedge funds. The case had no connection to the price gouging issue. Scarelli cried as he told judges he made a mistake and apologized to investors. In Wisconsin, a federal judge is investigating a federal investigation reveals a hospital failed to protect newborns and prevent abuse inside its neonatal intensive care unit. The investigation was launched after infants began sustaining mysterious injuries. A nurse at the hospital has been suspended as a result. The hospital is calling the situation a, quote, immediate threat to patient health safety. Well, and here's an unbelievable story. Hundreds of medical professionals in Quebec, Canada are currently protesting a pay raise. Why, you ask? Well, the concerned medics say they already make enough money. More than 750 physicians, residents, and medical students from the province signing onto a petition asking for pay raises to be canceled. Instead, they're asking the money be redistributed through Quebec's healthcare system. Well, February jobs report is out today, and we're looking pretty good. According to the report, the U.S. economy gained 313,000 jobs last month. Employment stayed at 4.1%, which is the lowest in 17 years. And there's trouble in Toyland. Toys R Us beginning preparations to liquidate all stores in the United States. The news comes just months after Toys R Us filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in September. And Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's upcoming royal wedding is bringing a big boost to the British economy. Luxury gift manufacturer Halcon Days is expecting a 10 to 15% increase in sales with commemorative ceramics. And the country expects over $1 billion in profit connected to the wedding. There's a scare in the air Wednesday night above Washington State. You can see a bright flash of light there on your screen. Witnesses say there was a loud boom to go with it. NASA says it was caused by a fireball meteor. Some more bright skies, this time above South Korea. Fireworks shot off to mark the opening ceremony of the Winter Paralympics in Pyeongchang. Over 500 athletes will compete in the 80 medal events, including alpine skiing, biathlon, cross-country skiing, ice hockey, snowboarding, and wheelchair curling. Winter Olympics and winter conditions. Over to Henry.
Yeah, definitely winter conditions as we take a look for a Sky Spy photo submitted.
Crystal Clear Windows is all about making your day easier, and Halberstadt's men's clothing is planning to open in Bismarck this spring. Maddie Jelseth has this week's Main Street Minute. A baby rhino is taking her first steps. This is Naomi. She and her mom live at the zoo in the Netherlands. At first, she stuck close to mom before venturing off and exploring the enclosure on her own. Naomi was born last week. Some emperor penguins had a royal photo shoot. The curious birds discovered a research camera in Antarctica and managed to snap a couple selfies. Over to our own Arctic conditions. Not even, we're warming up here, Henry.
Yeah, we're warming up. Still a little chilly for tonight, but there will be a slight chance of precipitation coming into play across the west tonight. And then during the day for the rest of us tomorrow, only light, mostly a wintry mix with a little bit of that transitioning over into all snow later during the day, but not expected accumulation. Hey, we're back in the 40s next week.
Good news. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.